Most agents think they have a lead problem, but they actually have a conversion problem. So when you want to run your business and you want it to be predictable, okay, a predictable revenue source, I follow this framework called the SELL framework. And for starters, the S, you'll start with your revenue. So for example, I want to make $250,000 a year selling real estate. Step number one. E, estimate the revenue per lead. You have to know, well, what's the average amount of commission that's going to be in the area, so you know how much revenue per deal is in order to get that $250,000. Then you have to lock in the conversion rate. You have to know, well, how many leads do you need in order to get X amount of appointments, and how many appointments do you have to get on to close X amount of deals. You have to lock in your conversions. Then what you have to do is leverage the math. You have to know, well, how many conversations do you need to have in order to even get the lead in the first place? So you have to follow this framework of knowing your revenue, estimate the average revenue per deal, know your conversion rates, and then do the math to know how many conversations you have to have. So when you know all of this, you'll ultimately know that, okay, well, if I want to make $250,000 and the average deal, for example, in your area is 12,500, you will know that, okay, I need to close 20 deals in order to do that. So now what you're following is you're following conversations to leads to appointments to closings, and that's how you know that more conversations, like everyone's always told you, more conversations will always equal a predictable revenue stream. Okay, cool. Cool. Now, YouTube. Okay. Okay. Most agents don't have a lead problem. They have a conversion problem. Guys, this is so important. Conversions are everything in real estate. If you do not know your numbers, and we're going to go over, okay, today, all the numbers you need to know, not all of them, but the core numbers that you need to know if you are going to succeed in real estate. This channel is not about living your referral business. Okay, this is about proactive real estate. You have reactive real estate, then you have proactive real estate. Reactive is going to come anyways. Your aunt or your uncle is going to call you to sell their home. We understand that. We're just going after the hunt now. And when you're hunting for business, you have to know these numbers. So if you want a predictable revenue stream, if you want your business to be predictable so you can quit your job, you quit your 9 to 5 and literally focus on real estate full time, you have to understand some framework. So I followed something called a SELL framework in order to have this predictable revenue that I'm talking about. So let's just first start off with the S, okay? You start with the revenue. Okay, start with how much money do you want to make? How much do you want to generate? Is it $500,000? Is it $1 million? Is it $100,000? Whatever. So I just have here $250,000 as your target. Okay, when you're starting your real estate career, boom, $250,000. That's the S. Have to know that number. E, estimate the revenue per deal. You have to know, well, what's the average deal in the area, commission-wise? Is it 5K? Is it 20K? 15K? If you're in Beverly Hills selling mansions, probably like $100,000 a deal. But the reality, you have to be able to write down, well, what is the average commission rate that you should be expecting when you're selling real estate? Then the important part, the L, lock in the conversion rates. Many people most agents can never give you this answer. They can never tell you how many leads they need in order to get on average how much appointments, in order to know how much appointments that they need to go on in order to close. It's super important. So what's happening when you do not know these numbers, there's no way that you can have a predictable business model. For example, if you know that you have a 50% close rate on appointments, that means you know that when you go on 2 appointments, you will get 1 deal. So when you know that number, now you have power. Now you're in the driving seat because you know, well, if I want to close 20 transactions, I need to go on 40 appointments. And now you have that 40 in your brain. And now you're figuring out, well, what do I need to do to go on 40 appointments? Well, how much leads do you need? Like clockwork. So if you know that, okay, in order I can close, for example, 25% of my leads to appointments, for example, then you know that, okay, well, if I want to go on 1 appointment, I have to get 4 leads because 25% of 4 is 1. Follow along here. So, right? So that's how you start having a predictable business. If you know how to get the appointment and you know how to, your closing rate, the only thing next is leveraging the math. Okay, well, how many conversations do I need to have then? Because everything's always going to boil down to conversations. I don't care who you talk to in this industry, okay? Follow this advice. Hear me out here. I don't care who you talk to. Everything when it comes down to predictable business is conversations. Whether you're door knocking or you're calling people face to face, ear to ear, it doesn't matter. It always boils down to conversations. So leveraging the math means that you tell yourself, okay, I need to have 20 conversations in order to get one lead. For example, I'm just making up math right now because you're going to say you get a lead 5% of the time. Fine. You need 4 leads in order to get one appointment. Okay. You know that you close at 50%. Follow along here. So you now know that, okay, well, if I go on, 2 appointments, I'm going to close 1. So by the time you start doing the math, you start to understand your business model. Right? It's super important. And then we get on to the revenue targets, right? So once you know everything, you will then come and say, okay, well, if I don't make $250,000 and my average deal is $12,500, then you're telling yourself that you need 20 deals. And now you have everything written on paper. You need to find 20 transactions. And once you know all these numbers, you will then start to have a predictable business model. And it's amazing. You will literally, your conversations will change from qualitative to quantitative. It'll change to, I know that, okay, if I want to do 20 transactions, that means I need to talk to 3,000 people, 2,000 people, whatever that number is. That's the type of real estate agent you have to be if you want to succeed. You have to be able to tell yourself, I know how much comments I need to have. And then what you're doing is you're breaking down those conversations. You're saying, okay, well, if I need to have 4,000 conversations for the year, let's say for easy math, this is for easy math, right? If I need to have 1,000 conversations for the year, then every single month, I need to be having X amount of conversations. Every single week, X amount of conversations. Make sense? And then you just work it out. But it's always going to boil down to conversations. And number 1 will lead to leads, will lead to appointments, will lead to a closed deal, right? And more conversations equals a predictable revenue stream. I hope this makes absolute sense. If you have any questions at all, again, comment below, ask me anything you want to ask me, and remember to follow, subscribe, click, support my channel, okay? Later, guys. Most realtors are trying to get people to exchange information with them without giving them any value. And if you're not giving someone any value, they're never going to exchange information with you, whether you're at a networking event, you're at a door, or an open house. So I have something that I follow is called the value rule. And number 1, you have to be visible. Doesn't matter where you are. If you're at your home, if you're not door knocking, you're not at an open house, or you're not at a networking event, wherever, if you're not visible, then you're never going to be able to grow that database in the first place. Then you have to understand what the asset is. Every single homeowner, their largest asset in their life is their home. So when you're going into that conversation, that has to be on your mind. Like, what is that individual's largest asset? Then what you have is lead with value. What is the one thing that every single homeowner cares about? It's the value of their home, okay? And right now, because the market is doing what it's doing, that number is changing by the week, okay? So every single homeowner you already know values the value of their home. So then what you have to do is you have to make sure you update them. The best thing you can do to a homeowner is update them on the value of their home. If you're having that conversation with any homeowner, it doesn't matter where you are, they're always going to feel inclined to exchange information with you. And then you should be expect a 10% conversion. What that basically means is that in your database, because we understand that there's a 10% conversion industry average on your database, the whole goal is to lead with value with the value rule. And then you expect 10%. What that basically means is that in the industry, we understand that the whole goal should be to convert your database at 10%. So if you have 100 people in your system, then you should be expecting 10% of those people, 10 people to convert. So that is the formula, that is the system. And that's why in the industry, we always say the database equals a predictable amount of listings.